Waste all of that sacrifice because we got impatient. We'll come through it. We know that we will come out of it. We will rebuild, recover, and reopen, but only at the right time and in the right way.
The county says it will not have a timeline for when the stay-at-home orders will be lifted until we've hit our peak. And over 20,000 people have died in the U.S. from coronavirus, according to Johns Hopkins University. And that's more than Italy's reported death toll of nearly 19,500. New York's governor says his state may be flattening the curve after weeks of social distancing and stay-at-home orders. But as ABC's Andrew Dimbert reports, other states are preparing for a possible surge in cases.
More than 500,000 cases of coronavirus now confirmed in the U.S., and that number still growing. With more than 8,600 deaths in New York City alone, the pandemic taking its toll on first responders.
It's weighing on me.
But New York State may be seeing the curve begin to flatten after weeks of social distancing and stay-at-home orders.
The number of hospitalizations appears to have hit an apex, and the apex appears to be a plateau.
But New York Governor Andrew Cuomo with this warning.
The worst thing that can happen is we make a misstep and we let our emotions get ahead of our logic and fact, and we go through this again in any manner, shape, or form.
President Trump now looking to create a task force focused on reopening the country.
It's the biggest decision I'll ever make.
But according to a New York Times report, new federal projections warn of a spike in coronavirus infections if shelter-in-place orders were lifted after only 30 days. A second wave likely spiking mid-summer.
I would hope that by November we would have things under such control that we could have a real degree of normality.
Experts say the key to reopening will be testing. Tests like these drive-through sites in California, checking people for COVID-19 antibodies with a simple finger prick. But so many cities still preparing for a surge in patients. Boston's first field hospital now open.
We are about to have a very difficult couple of weeks here in Massachusetts.
Detroit also opening a new field hospital, anticipating the need for more beds. COVID-19 has taken a financial toll on millions of Americans who are now out of work, but relief is on the way. According to the U.S. Treasury, the first stimulus checks should be direct deposited this week. Meanwhile, some relief for Boeing employees. The company announcing that it's going to be restarting operations in a limited capacity in Washington state. The company dealing with mostly defense contracts and the Department of Defense. Those operations have been deemed a matter of national security and critical. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
Starting tomorrow, struggling Californians will get an extra $600 in their unemployment checks. 2.3 million people filed for unemployment last month after losing their jobs due to the pandemic. And the Union Tribune reports average weekly benefit checks will bump from $340 to $940. Those receiving max benefits will now get a weekly check of $1,500, and the extra benefits will last for 4 months. San Diego County residents who missed the property tax deadline due to COVID-19 now have an extension. The county treasurer's office pushed the deadline back to June 30th. It also said it will be canceling late payment penalties as well. The county says you need to fill out a special penalty cancellation request to avoid the late fees. A link to that form and more details on property taxes during COVID-19 are on our website, 10news.com. 2 more sailors aboard the Navy hospital ship Mercy have tested positive for COVID-19. That brings the total to 3 sailors. The sailors are now self-isolating off the ship. The San Diego-based ship is docked in LA to relieve hospitals in the area. More than 1,000 crew members are on the ship. 30 left after coming into contact with an infected sailor. New tonight, a local doctor gets a special delivery right to her driveway. It's a safe and clean place to stay after she sees patients with coronavirus symptoms. As 10 News reporter Rena Nakano explains, the RV is giving her some much-needed peace of mind.
This is a story of how 2 strangers became each other's heroes. What brought them together, a dire need stemming from the coronavirus pandemic.
Connie and I have made an instant connection.
Meet Jamie Renfro, an event planner from La Mesa. She and her family are adventurers.
We go to Borrego, to the desert. We just like to be outdoors.
And this is Connie Miller, an ER doctor at Kaiser San Diego.
It's definitely a stressful, emotional, intense time.
Dr. Miller sees patients with coronavirus symptoms, and like all of us, she tries not to bring work home. But it's not easy when you're on the front lines.
We all have a decontamination procedure. Nothing I wear at work comes home with me, or it stays in the trunk of my car, and I try not to interact with the kids when I get home.
It's a sad reality for many healthcare workers around the world.
Enter into the equation RVs for MDs, a Facebook group that connects quarantined RV owners with healthcare workers who need a separate place to stay to keep their families safe.
It's something I can easily do, and just a way to say thank you to what they're doing.
Renfro jumped at the opportunity to help, and within a day, she matched with Dr. Miller.
Just giving them a sense of peace of mind is what makes me happy.
Saturday morning, Renfro delivered her beautifully renovated RV with all the hookups straight to Dr. Miller's driveway. The charge, free. For how long? Until it's no longer needed.
They are offering such a wonderful gift, even though everyone thinks we're all the heroes and we're working in the front line. Truly, Jamie Renfro and her family, they're my hero right now.
Showing that heroes come in all forms. Rena Nakano, 10 News.
So many stories of generosity. And thousands of San Diegans came out to SDCCU Stadium today to pick up food during this pandemic. These images of people in their cars lining up to get food have been a familiar sight the past few Saturdays. Feeding San Diego has been hard at work, making sure people don't go hungry as they fight to make ends meet during this difficult time.
This has sent a lot of people from a middle-class life to struggling with hunger on a daily basis. All across our county, from San Ysidro to Oceanside to Borrego Springs, we are dealing with hunger that is unprecedented in the modern history of San Diego County.
Today, San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer and Imperial County's Labor Council helped distribute food. And people around the world are celebrating religious holidays this weekend. Coming up, what one pastor is doing to feel like he's not preaching to empty seats during these stay-at-home orders. Plus, the local effort to show appreciation to essential workers now going nationwide.
We are not done with the rain just yet. I'm tracking how much more is on the way coming up in your 7-day forecast.
Well, the faithful are practicing their religion a little differently during this time of social distancing, and from virtual Passover Seder's to Holy Week services being live streamed. But as ABC's Rachel Scott reports, some communities are defying orders to stay at home and avoid large crowds.
At a time when many are turning to their faith for comfort, churches, synagogues, and mosques are empty.
A virus doesn't care what your religion is. Pain and suffering is the great unifier. Sometimes when pain comes, it causes people to turn to God, and it causes other people to turn away from God.
The streets of Jerusalem, holy to all three major religions, empty. Many now finding creative ways to worship. Passover Seder's being held virtually, and Holy Week services are being live streamed. New Orleans Archbishop Gregory Amen and Rabbi Alexis Erdheim flying separately over the city, asking for God's blessing. This pastor in Ohio printing photos of his parishioners.
It was an amazingly prayerful moment to be in a quiet chapel, kind of in the dark. And every time I put a picture up, I could, remember the people who I was praying for and think about them.
Earlier this week, Vice President Mike Pence said he will attend the virtual Easter services of his Indiana church from his living room. In Arizona, Pastor Nathan Bentley had planned to host Easter services outside, providing masks and limiting participation. But those plans canceled after many feared it was a disaster waiting to happen.
I want the community to know that I'm truly sorry to cause fear. That was never my intent. We want the safety of our neighbors. We want the best for our neighbors. And so I humbly apologize.
But communities are defying social distancing guidelines. The Supreme Court in Kansas hearing arguments to determine whether congregations can gather with more than 10 people.
With a shockingly irresponsible decision that will put every Kansas life at risk.
Overseas, Pope Francis celebrating Easter Vigil Mass in an empty St. Peter's Basilica. And in Germany, drive-in theaters are making a comeback. cathedrals of cars. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
San Diegans are coming together to show their support for first responders, healthcare, and essential workers. 10 News reporter Nate Holmes shows how a small yellow ribbon has turned into a symbol of frontline solidarity.
The next time you make an essential errand, you may see this, a yellow ribbon tied around a tree or pole.
It's kind of funny because, this is a spread that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Chris Morrow said she wanted to do something to support our local first responders, healthcare, and essential workers.
A ribbon around my tree in my house, and then just the whole street kind of ended up doing the same thing.
Just 5 days later, ribbons are popping up in different neighborhoods around the county and in other states.
There's a war out there, but they're fighting the silent enemy for us, those healthcare workers, and then all the other people that are supporting them. It just means the world to me to know that I could do something small to, maybe uplift their day a little bit.
Morrow says many have reached out to her, like the mayor of Chula Vista and healthcare workers, thanking her for starting the Yellow Ribbon campaign. Meantime, others are finding different ways to support. That's the sound of cheering filling our downtown streets. Every night at 8 p.m., neighbors show love to those on the front lines. Here, San Diego Police and San Diego Fire Rescue giving our healthcare workers a standing ovation Friday. Both departments sent units, sirens, and lights on to 7 local hospitals. Morrow says it's the little gestures that give many of our essential workers a boost to keep going.
It does, a little support goes a long way.
Nate Holmes, 10 News.
Indeed it does. And due to all of our heavy rain, the city says it's now releasing water from the Hodges Reservoir into the San Diego River. It started this morning. It could last a week or until the water goes back down to a safe level. The city is asking people that live in the area along the San Diego River to take precautions during this time.
This 10 News Pinpoint weather report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Nobody wows clients like we do.
The beginning of a holy weekend for so many San Diegans, and that sunshine just felt so warming and wonderful. Jennifer, it feels good today as opposed to the last several days.
I know, Kimberly, and a lot of people were waiting for that. We had several days of rain. Just in the last 5 days, we got almost 7.5 inches of rain in Encinitas. So certainly everyone heading outside to get a little bit of fresh air for today, finally seeing that sunshine come back to San Diego. But it's not going to last long. We do have another chance of showers very late tonight into tomorrow morning. Right now, though, beautiful conditions around the county from Poway to La Jolla, downtown San Diego, and Mount Laguna. A couple clouds out there, pretty mild overall, breezy as well. Laguna Mountain Lodge, this is our live camera there. You can still see some snow on the ground. We got 7 inches over the past week for Palomar Mountain and Mount Laguna. Current temperatures are very comfortable, 65 degrees in downtown San Diego, 60s for the rest of the coastline and into the valleys as well. Cooler for our mountains, in the 40s for Palomar Mountain and Julian. Slight chance of showers to develop mainly after midnight. Anything that we do get is going to be very, very light, and that will continue into tomorrow morning as well. Here we see it on our future cast, developing once again very light showers early Sunday morning, 3 a.m. And then by the time most people are waking up into the 7, 8, 9 o'clock hour, couple sprinkles, it's not going to be heavy. Even through the afternoon, limited sunshine for our coastal areas and our valleys, couple spotty showers for our mountains, and then once again tomorrow night into early Monday morning, we also have another chance for showers that'll continue. So overall pretty mild. It's really just going to be some drizzle, and then we should be drying out. Light showers tonight, and again Sunday night, partly sunny for Easter, more sunshine and warmer temps by Tuesday. For tomorrow, mild. Anyone celebrating Easter, maybe go have an Easter egg hunt in the backyard, get outside for a little bit. Light chance for drizzle Sunday into Monday as well. Tuesday, we will be warming back up. Inland Valley, see the 70s returning by Tuesday. Mountain areas, couple spotty showers there, but overall, it's going to be nice for tomorrow, pretty mild, more sunshine on Tuesday, Kim.
That is great news. Thank you, Jennifer. I'll check in later.